What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, the brother, Robert Mason, coming through once again with the $40 donation via the PayPal. Alright? Much respect to him for showing love to Too Raw for TV, aka Too Raw for Sports. Alright, and to anyone that want to show love, if you choose to, you can do so in the links in the description box below via the PayPal or the Cash App or in the pinned comment in the comment section below. Now, this is a question that is going to anger, I think, some Curry fans, a few Clay fans. I can't believe Draymond has a contingency, but he does, of fans. It's going to anger some people. But it's a legitimate question. Is it time for the second unit, the second guard of the Warriors to take a more active role? By that I mean, is it time for Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins to have larger offensive roles for the Warriors? Now, I don't know what's going on with Andrew Wiggins. I know there was a nasty internet rumor that was circulating a couple of days ago that has been dispelled. But whatever he's going through, I hope that it has a favorable outcome, and I hope that he can get through it. I hope he has a great support system around him, and whatever it is, I hope that I wish him the best. I put it like that. I wish him the absolute best. Now, hopefully that he gets past whatever it is that he's dealing with, and we go on to next year. Is it time for them to step up, and for Steph, Clay? I don't know about Draymond. Like, Draymond's going somewhere else at this point. But is it time for Steph and Clay to take a reduced role? Now, I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, but I'm saying this from a historical perspective, and I'll tell you why. Someone made a great point to me, and it's that when you look at all of the championship teams in history, 35 years of age almost exclusively is the cutoff for the first option on championship teams, right? The one exception that pops in my mind, and maybe there's some others, but I just can't think of it off anybody else off the top of my head. I'm saying championship teams. The one exception is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The 85 Lakers, Kareem was 38 years old when he was leading the team in scoring with 22 points a game, right? But even with that, and Kareem being the oldest Finals MVP at 38, even with that, the scoring was still rather balanced, okay? But everybody else, the cutoff is about 35. Michael Jordan was 35 when he led the Bulls to their last championship. 35. Most of these other guys, 35, 34, 36, 34, I just can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I might be blanking and forgetting somebody, but I can't think of anybody else. Kobe's last championship, he was 31? Dirk Nowitzki was 34, 33, 34. Last year, Curry was 34, leading the team to a championship. Now, LeBron was leading scorer in the bubble. He was 35. Okay? Almost 36, but he was 35. Although during the season, the leading scorer was AD. So that seems to be the cutoff. Steph Curry's 35. Okay? He's getting to a point. We're seeing it now. We saw it happening with LeBron now. His points are still very impactful. But you're starting to notice Curry in the past. If he had a 50-point game, the Warriors would have won in a blowout, especially shooting 20 or 28 from the floor. Even with Curry shooting 20 or 28 from the floor, they lost. As a matter of fact, both games this year when he scored 50, the Warriors have lost. Now, there are other factors involved as well. Not just that. The Warriors are too small this year. They don't have the interior presence like of an Andrew Bogut or anything like that anymore. They don't have any rim protectors like Bogut anymore. They lack some of the defenders on their team, such as a prime Iguodala. He's no longer anywhere near where he once was. They don't have a Harrison Barnes. Draymond's not the player that he once was. They don't have the bench that they once had. So it's not just that. There's too much ISO. They shoot too many threes, which sounds ironic talking about the Warriors team, but they shoot too many threes. But age is a factor. This team has had long playoff runs, 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then last year. That's a lot of extra games, a lot of wear and tear. Draymond is an old 32, 33. Clay is an old injury-riddled 33. Curry is an older, injury-riddled 35. Next year he'll be 36. And they're getting to an age where you have to kind of make adjustments. Look, toward the end of the Celtics dynasty, not that Bill Russell was ever a scorer like that, but as he got older, his scoring average dropped from 19, 18 to like 13 to 10 or something like that, right? And the younger Celtics began to take a larger role. Especially John Havlicek, right? John Havlicek took a larger and larger role offensively. The Lakers, the 72 Lakers, Will Chamberlain, once a great, great scorer. Now he's the last option offensively. Who are they utilizing now? The younger players. I think Gail Goodrich, the younger guy on that team, he was their leading scorer. He was one of their top guys. I think Jim McMillan. I think he was averaging like 15, 16 points a game for them. Younger guys were starting to be featured more offensively. The same thing with the Spurs, the championship Spurs. As Tim Duncan got older, as Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker got older, they started featuring other guys offensively. Danny Green, a young Kawhi Leonard before he became spoiled and coddled. Just some other guys I can't tell off the top of my head anyway that was on that team. But you get the point. Championship teams, it's the system. Great teams, the way you extend dynasties is, yes, you keep the core, but you got to make some adjustments. And you got to have guys who are willing to sacrifice and do what's the best for the team. These guys have such egos today that a lot of them aren't willing to do that because these guys make so much money as a superstar and it's their brand. So they're not willing to do what Tim Duncan did, which is take a pay cut and take a lesser role, play less minutes. They're not willing to do that now. That was what happened with the Boston dynasty. Red Auerbach was too loyal to Bird, McHale, and Parrish. He wouldn't make changes. And that's why they aged out so badly, But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is age is catching up with the Golden State Warriors. And, I think it's getting to a point where they may need to make some adjustments, okay? Look, even the Bulls, the 93 Bulls, right? Jordan was at the peak of his powers, as was Scottie Pippen, right? But they had a very old bench when you look at it, right? Paxton, Cartwright was getting old, very old. Trent Tucker was old. I'm forgetting the guy that played with the Rockets. He was pretty good in the 80s. He was old. They had an old team. By the next year, you started seeing some of the younger guys come in. Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc finally, who was drafted in 90, made his debut with the team. Bill Winnington. All these guys that were under 30 at the time came on. Because you got to do that. You got to bring in youth. And that's my thing with the Warriors. I think one of the problems is that all of the, age is a part of this thing too. So anyway, tell me what you guys think. Do you think that it's getting to a point where, as hard as this is to say, maybe Steph and Clay may have to start playing lesser roles? Not necessarily come off the bench right now, but maybe being more of a even option with Poole, and then slowly over the next couple of years making Poole the first option, then Curry the second option, and then maybe Clay. I know he may not want to see this, but maybe one day coming off the bench. And if Curry wants to play long enough, eventually he's probably going to have to look into doing what Ray Allen did. Ray Allen went from being a star player with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Sonics at the time to being a valued role player for the Miami Heat. Anyway, tell me what you guys think.